Yo, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we have the first versus battle on this channel. Today we're going over Adult Rock Lee versus A the Raikage. Now this is based on a lot of assumptions because we haven't seen Lee a lot in Boruto. He hasn't had much screen time or any panels in the manga. So we're going to assume some stuff. So first of all, we're going to assume he mastered all 8 gates. And for this fight, we will assume that he has mastered the 7th gate. To start off this video, to fairly compare the two, first we have to look at their feats. First off, we can compare the speed of the two based on feats. We know the Raikage is extremely fast and was able to keep up with KCM1 Naruto, who was not as fast as, but was being compared to the speed of Minato, who is stated in the data books to be the fastest shinobi of all time. We can now gather the speed of the Raikage from this alone, and it was also stated as being one of the fastest shinobi of all time. To counteract the speed argument though on the side of the Raikage would be his fight against Madara. During his fight with Madara, he was able to get nowhere near him, when he was much weaker than when Lee interacted with him, which we will get to later. The Raikage struggled to even get close to Madara the whole time during the fight, even with his monstrous speed. On the other hand, 17-year-old Rock Lee, who could only open 6 gates at this point, blitzed and kicked Uchiha Madara in half like it was no problem at all. In terms of speed, even if we lowball, I think it's safe to say that Lee can maybe not match the Raikage's speed in 6th gate, but adult Lee, with all the more training and 7th gate, I think it wouldn't be a stretch to say that the Raikage speed wouldn't be much of a problem for Lee in this fight. Now this is actually very convenient because a user of the 7 gates and someone stated to be stronger than the Raikage have shared an opponent in which the 7 gates has come on top. Killer B, who is stated to be stronger than the Raikage on many occasions, had a fight with Kisame. During B's fight with Kisame, it is not an easy fight for B, and B actually struggles a lot. It had nothing to do with the terrain or anything either, being in favor of Kisame. Kisame was just that strong. But when Guy opened all 7 gates on Kisame, on a stronger version of Kisame in Kisame's Samahara fusion, in an ocean where the terrain also favors Kisame, Guy was able to one-hit Kisame. Now, I'm not putting Lee on the same level as Guy right now because there's not enough evidence to state that, but I wouldn't think he's much lower. It's a shame that so far in Boruto we haven't been able to see much of Lee in action and all, but I think assumptions to say he isn't far behind my Guy are pretty safe to ensue. There are also other implications providing the statement that B is indeed stronger than A. When B and A had their lariat match when Naruto and B were trying to get to the war, it was a match of strength, which is obviously a strong point, and B was still able to overtake his brother. In terms of intelligence during the fight, we haven't seen either to be very intelligent fighters, but more so base their fighting style off taijutsu and raw power that won't play much of a factor in this fight. In terms of jutsus themselves, we saw my Guy have a solid arsenal of taijutsu when he was at Lee's current age, but we haven't seen much of Lee's current arsenal. Based on what we know, he has a Leaf Hurricane, Primary Lotus, and a couple others. For the Raikage, we have mostly just seen his lariat as a jutsu, but nothing more worth talking about. In terms of willpower to win the fight, they are also pretty evenly matched. We've seen Lee show plenty of heart before, and the main example being his fight with Gaara. Lee was willing to sacrifice everything in order to beat Gaara, and if it weren't for Tsunade's healing abilities, Lee wouldn't have been able to carry on as a shinobi after his incredible display of courage against Gaara. In terms of A, we have seen his passion for fighting on many occasions, the main one being his fight against Sasuke during the crashing of the 5 Kage summit. A in this fight was going back and forth exchanging blows with Mangekyo Sharingan Sasuke, which is no small feat. Also, the Raikage most likely would have died if Gaara hadn't come to block Sasuke's final attack. A still showed some incredible willpower during this fight though. During his exchanges with Sasuke, Sasuke uses Amaterasu and it lands on the Raikage's arm. With no hesitation, he cuts off his own arm, asking for the blood to get stopped so he can continue fighting. A couple other feats for Lee include his Drunken Fist and his fight against Gaara. In his fight against Gaara, before he was even a Genin, whilst he was in the 4th gate fighting Gaara, even Kakashi Sharingan was having trouble keeping up with pre-Genin Rock Lee's movements, which in itself is an incredible feat. He also fought against Kimimaru, someone who would be considered a high-ranked jonin. And with his Drunken Fist, he was able to keep toe-to-toe with him. He was able to go back and forth, although he would have lost in the end. To still be able to go back and forth with someone of such high rank is quite the feat in itself for someone who was just turned genin. It's a shame there's not much more evidence we can give for a side of things, but I don't think it would make too much of a difference anyway. As you can probably guess, the winner after this fight is Rock Lee. I think being able to open the 7th gate is a massive advantage for Lee based on his previous feats. I do think it'd be a close fight, but I have backed Lee's power in this fight, and I also have backed the fact that I think Lee will have a wider variety of jutsu that he can use to beat A. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know if you want to see more of this series. Let me know what fights you want to see, and I will try to break it down as best I can. As always, make sure to subscribe, smash like, and I'll see you in the next one. Deuces.